Hello guys, and welcome to another video from Top Learners. Today we are studying past continuous tense. Another name for past continuous tense is past progressive tense. Before we go to the lesson, I want you to subscribe our channel for support. Our channel is Top Learners. And let's get started. When we say past progressive tense, it shows an action that was in progress at a specific time in the past. And how can we form past progressive tense? How can we make a sentence in past progressive form? So we have to know the verb form in this tense. So the verb form in past progressive is be plus verb ing. But do not forget here, when we say be, it is not is, am, are. This be is was and were. It means the to be verb for past progressive tense is was and were. As you know, was is used for singular subjects like I, he, she, it, and singular nouns. And we use were for plural subjects like we, you, they, and plural nouns. Okay, the structures are here. We have the affirmative or positive structure. We use our subject. We use subject, then we use to be verb was or were, then we use the verb ing form and then complement. To make it negative, we can easily add not after the verb be, after was and were, and then verb ing and complement. To make question or to form a question sentence, you can bring that to be verb was and were at the beginning of the sentence, like be, subject, verb ing, and complement. And to make negative structure for the question or negative interrogative, you can add the word not after subject. Be, subject, not, verb ing, and complement. To ask about anything for details that was in progress in the past, even if you want to talk about the place, the time, and the manner, and any other thing, it means if you want to know and have more information, you can ask WH questions. So for asking a WH question, we bring the WH words at the beginning. WH words are what, when, why, where, how, which, and so on. Then we can add was or were, and then subject, verb ing, and complement. If you have a subject and that subject is a person and you don't know that person, you want to know about door of the action in the past, so you can use the structure of who as the subject. Who, be, verb ing, and complement. Normally we use was for this be, like who was working, who was coming, who was writing, and who was speaking. But if we have a receiver of an action, in that case you can use who as the object of the sentence. For that case, we have the subject already, so we use who, then be, it means was and were. This was and were really depend on the subject here. If the subject is I, he, she, and it, we use was and were. If the subject is we, you, they, we use were. And then we use verb ing and then complement. The examples are here. We can have the examples like Tom was talking to Mike. So here, this action was in progress in the past. If you want to make a negative sentence, you can bring the subject like you, and we use the to be verb were for that. You weren't working in Herat. So here, this action was not in progress in the past. This is negative. If you want to ask a question, yes/no question, then you can use the to be verb was or were at the beginning, like was he playing soccer last night? So if you want to ask negative question or negative interrogative, you can use was, then the subject, then not. Was he not reading a book? When we use past continuous tenses at all, we're not talking about a complete action. We just talk about the progress of that action at that time. So if you want to know about that action with details about the place, about the time, about the way, and so on, then you can use a WH word. Or at the beginning, you can say, where were you going at last night? Or when were you going there? Or you can say, how were you going there? Or why were you going there? So we can ask different WH questions by using different WH words. Okay, if you want to know about the door of an action in the past or who as the subject, you can bring who at the beginning, and then directly you can use your helping verbs or to be verbs here. Like, who was talking on the phone? In this sentence, the subject is not clear. We don't know about the subject. So the structure is exactly like affirmative. Just the difference is Tom is clear. We know that person, but when we say who was talking on the phone, so here we don't know the door of the action. We are asking about that person. And if you have a receiver of the action, you can use who as the object. Like, who were you looking at? This were is because of the subject you. There are some usages for past progressive tense. We can use past progressive or continuous tense for continuous action interrupted by another actions in the past. So, for example, we can say, I was working when my brother called me. Mike was washing the car when his phone rang. We can also use past continuous tense for parallel actions. Those actions that were happening at the same time and they were not interrupting each other. Like, I was sleeping while my brother was reading. So both of these two actions were parallel. None of them interrupted each other. And the next one, or the next usage of past progressive tense, is for irritating habits in the past. But we can use the adverbs like always. For example, we can say, he was always bothering me. She was always talking aloud. And he was always coming late. These are the habits that we call them irritating. And that's it. We have interrupted actions like he was watching TV when his father opened the door. Be careful when we use the first action in progressive tense and when we use the conjunction when here, then the action which is interrupting should be in simple past. So his father opened the door. This action interrupted watching TV. So we can displace them, we can change their places, but the difference is that we use a comma. I can bring this sentence first, like, when his father opened the door, he was watching TV. For parallel actions, they were reading books while John was sleeping. These two actions were in progress at the same time. And we can change their places. Like, I say, while John was sleeping, they were reading books. So the meaning is still the same, and we just changed the places. Thank you very much. This was today's lesson.